welcome home, where we provide information, inspiration, and motivator after motivator after motivator here on America's Next. I have Aaron Janx here with me today. How you doing, Aaron?
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Where are you located these days?
Atlanta, Georgia, man.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah, man.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Aaron Janx here from Atlanta, Georgia. I can hear the down south twang in his voice. And I'm excited for a great
Yeah,
conversation
man.
today. Yeah. As you come into the building, I just want to say hello. Thank you for spending a Friday evening with us. And we're going to get straight into it. Aaron, what type of business are you into today?
So we have a B2B consulting business that helps consultants, online entrepreneurs, sales organizations scale online.
Wow. Okay. Now, business to business means that you don't do necessarily public campaigns. You sell to other businesses. You help other businesses.
Right, right. And I do have some personal development like products on my store
Okay.
where you can learn like sales skills because I believe everybody needs to learn how to sell.
Mhm.
Persuading speaker, you're persuading people. And so the more you know how to persuade, the better you're gonna do in your life. If you're looking to get a raise and you don't know how to persuade the boss to get one, you ain't gonna get one.
That's right. That's right. There's only two jobs in this world. You're either a salesman or you're working for a salesman.
There you go.
What type of sales did you do early in life?
So I grew up in a sales family. I'm a third
Mhm.
generation sales trainer. And as a kid, uh, my dad had his own business, and my mom was a successful sales regional sales manager for an advertising company. And all my grandfather was huge in sales. He ran the largest timeshare organization in the world at the time.
Wow. I've also learned.
And so when I got out of
Go ahead.
when I got out of high school, I was a terrible student. I graduated with a 1.99, dude,
Mhm.
and I got immediately into sales at 18. So I was even in community college, but I figured I was making more money than the teachers, so I figured I need to go on and drop out.
You know what? I've also heard that um, salespeople make more money than pretty much any other profession. It's the salesperson who goes out there and makes the lion's share of the money. And I find it
Absolutely.
interesting. I find it interesting that you come from, a legacy of salesmen. What was your childhood like? Talk to us.
Yeah. So as a kid, I just saw I lived with my mom, and I saw her. She actually. I saw her prospecting, cold calling, doing presentations. Once in a while, there'd be no babysitter. I'd have to go with her. And I was a little kid, and I'd go, see her make a sale. She was selling advertising,
Mhm.
and I would watch her do that as a little bitty kid. And then when I'd go and visit my dad, he'd have his office going and his big phone room with. I'd see him give a big. They used to call them powwows,
Mhm.
where it's you give a speech at the beginning of the shift of the night. So he'd go in there and rile up all the troops. And when I was a little kid, I used to think, man, I want to do that one day. I want my own phone room, and like Wolf of Wall Street. That
Yep.
that was kind of like what they had going on there. It wasn't that big,
Right.
but it was sort of like that. And that's always been part of my dream. Like, man, I want to room. And I have one, but
Yeah.
I do have people. We do have a team, people working for me. But I was going to get one, but then COVID hit,
Mhm.
and so I had to put a delay on that because people aren't working inside as much. So as a kid, man, I was just a kid, like a single child, only child, single mom situation, like a lot of people, and I just gravitated towards, I want to be the boss, you know, as a kid, I always want to be the boss. So I didn't want anybody telling me what to do.
Right.
And that's why I did terrible in school. You know, I
Now,
didn't want nobody telling me what to do.
as you shifted your attention away from school, were you getting into sales? You know, some like for me, for instance, I found granite rocks in the driveway next door. I thought that they looked pretty good, and so I put the granite rocks in a shoebox, and I was literally selling the rocks on the corner for 75 cents a piece. What's your first sales story?
uh, I didn't do that because I like to organize people.
Okay.
Like I like to get people to do stuff for me.
Hmm.
And quite frankly, I don't really like sales. That's
Okay.
a strange thing that people hear a sales trainer say. And that's why I developed my own methodology around it, because I was so uncomfortable doing it. So my first time selling was when I was well, let me back up. When I was in high school, I was like 16 or something like that. And we had a history teacher, and he was kind of a weird guy. I don't want to say his name, but he coached something or another. And I always thought he was a little flirtatious, you know, like with the girls and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
he was cool. Like he was a cool guy, and he was a white guy with real curly hair. And you don't see many white dudes with like real curly hair. So he looked
Right.
a little like Screech, you
Right.
know, like on Save the Bell.
Hmm.
And he he said, "Hey man, if you're gonna talk like that, you know, I was probably flirting with a girl." He said, "Why don't you teach the class yourself?" I said, "Okay."
Hmm.
And so he said, "Well, all right, go tomorrow though. You do it tomorrow, so be ready." So
Right.
I took it real serious. I was like, "Okay, man, I'm gonna get ready." I was a terrible student, but I went, and I've always been real smart, like real high IQ, right? So I
Mhm.
go and I learn the lesson, and then I say, "Hey man, you gonna let me teach?" And he says, "All right, man, go do it." So I taught the whole lesson, and he says to me afterwards, he's like, I think he said a curse word, but I ain't gonna say it. But he said, "Man, that was good, man. Like you ought to be like a speaker or something like that."
Mhm.
Uh, so then I knew I had the ability to persuade people, because I had that whole class like like puppets, you know.
Right.
And so from then on, I thought I need to do something in business, you know, because if I have that ability, I ought to make money from it.
Right. You realized early on that you were called to lead people and that you were called to make money.
I'm a persuader. I'm
Yeah.
good at persuading people. That's like my gift.
Hmm. What would you say to a young man who's out there in the world who resembles you because they don't care too much about school? They might be naturally gifted, and we still care about them landing on their 2 feet. Can you give them some advice today?
Yeah, you know, you have to be willing to do the things other people aren't willing to do. And nobody likes to be but to the amount that you're rejected and the amount of success that you're going to have. The most successful people have just been rejected more than everybody else. And I don't care who you look up to, whether it's Elon Musk or Steve Harvey or Bill Gates, it doesn't matter. They've been rejected more than other people. And sensitivity and poverty go hand in hand. Sensitivity and poverty go hand in hand. You walk up to people. Look, I've been broke, busted, and disgusted several times. And when you're in a hard place, anything anybody says is going to set you off, man. You go to a person they're down on their luck, and you could cut them in line, or say something, call them a name, right? You ever see these people, like you call them a name, they'll just turn around, punch you in the face, or they might shoot you. You know, they
Mhm.
might shoot you. You call them a name. Those people are sensitive,
Mhm.
because they will kill you over calling them a name.
That's right.
And so their success level is low. But the thicker skin you have, the more it's like, oh no, come and call me a name. I don't care. You know, the more success you will have, because you will have to go against massive amounts of resistance in order to accomplish your goal. And so I'd say to the young man, like a young me, you need to make rejection your friend. It's not that you want rejection, but you associate rejection with success, knowing like, I tell people, hey, you got to focus on, because you can't stop rejection. You got to focus on like, hey, I got to get rejected like 100 times in order to be able to make however much money you're trying to make. Mm-hmm. So I would say to a young person today, don't be afraid of rejection. Embrace the rejection and allow it to fuel you. And the only reason you don't want to get rejected is because you're sensitive. So you know how you make something not sensitive? You got like, you know, the calluses on your hand, mm-hmm. like when you go to the gym, mm-hmm. you got to use those suckers over and over and over again so it don't hurt no more. Like I learned how to play guitar, and your fingers, they'll be hurting like for weeks. And you got to get the calluses on your fingers. So you got to get the calluses on your sensitivity. So that because the more sensitive you are, you go up in any trailer park or hood or anything like that, those are sensitive people. They are sensitive because they will haul off and shoot you, or just because they're hard in life. Mm-hmm. And when you've been rubbed raw, anything could set you off. And that's so right. the anywhere you go in the world, any hood, any ghetto, anywhere like that in the world, those places are filled with the most sensitive people. Mm-hmm. And you go to people like that, like you look at Navy SEALs, they're stone cold, man. I don't care who it is. You look at people who have had to fire a lot of people. You look at Oprah. You look at Bill Gates. You look at anybody. These people have more said about them than most people. I mean, than 1,000 lifetimes. They've had to take more hate than anybody. So they are not sensitive people. You cannot be sensitive and be successful. Like I know Kanye West calls himself a sensitive. He's like, I'm what's he call himself? An HSP, highly sensitive person. Mm-hmm. Dude, he's just saying that like maybe it revolves around art, but there's no way Kanye is that sensitive, because everybody has said everything about him that you could possibly say. If he was that sensitive, like most people, he wouldn't even have put himself out there. Mm-hmm. He wouldn't say the stuff that he says if he was that sensitive.
And what you're saying is the trial, the errors, the journey, it makes you tougher over time. And so when you look at what it takes to be successful and the dozens of times you're going to have to be rejected in order to get that one victory, it goes to say that in order for you to be a winner, be victorious, you're going to have to be tough. And so I totally feel you on that. What was your first job like?
I think my first job was Wendy's.
Oh my God! Talk about Wendy's. How was it for you working at Wendy's? What was it like? How long? Man. Hold on. That was a good answer. Wendy's. How long did you last? What was it like? Walk us through a day working at Wendy's.
Dude, like I worked the grill. Yeah. And I used to steal like the sandwiches and stuff like that, you know, because I was hungry, dude. Mm-hmm. So my whole bonus was like, they'll let you eat hamburgers, but they won't let you eat the chicken sandwich. So I used to like, because the chicken was more expensive, you know, because they had the thick ones.
Right.
And I was like, man, so I used to eat chicken sandwiches, and I was a terrible employee, man. I think I lasted like a couple of weeks there.
Wow. Now
I think I was like 16.
One thing that I have to pass along about Wendy's is that you can learn a lot from working at Wendy's. Wendy's is not like all the other fast food places. Obviously before COVID, the dining room at Wendy's, it has to be totally clean every night. It has to be spick and span.
Right, yeah. I remember that.
Yeah, everything has to be done in a particular way at Wendy's. Wendy's is different. And I wanted you to kind of talk about that. That's a job right there. People think sometimes that working in fast food is easy. Go get a job at Wendy's.
Well, yeah, those low paying jobs are some of the hardest jobs. It's I always tell my kids, like we got 6 kids, right? I always tell my kids, I say, when you're hard on yourself, life is easier on you.
Nice.
So, but life is hard if you're easy on yourself.
That's right.
So some of them hardest jobs, man, is because people don't learn the skill sets, the high value skill sets. So they got to do the hardest jobs.
Mm-hmm. How many times did you face rejection before you had success?
Well, I have a natural sales ability, and I used to like downplay that and 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 people be like, well, look, when I first started with sales, but I've always been uncomfortable with it because it's uncomfortable to put yourself out there. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not like comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
but I achieved success in sales early on. So I saw my mom trained me, my uncle trained me, and I broke all kind of company records when I was like 18 years old. And I think I signed, the average salesman would sign like, I don't know, 5 or 6 new clients during a sales cycle. And I did like 16. I remember that number 16.
Right.
And people thought that my mom was cheating because I was working with her because she was the bigger boss. And they used to thought that she was giving me sales.
Right.
But so the vice president of the company came down and he quizzed me. And so I had all the answers right. And he's like, well, I guess he is selling.
Right.
So I would like to be able to give you a story like I've faced lots of rejection before I was achieved some kind of sales success, but I'd be lying. But I have experienced since then. I'm 35 now. Massive amounts of rejection. I'm not anywhere like Kanye West, although I'd like to be that famous, and I believe that I will be that famous one day. But I have had everything said about me that you could be said about a person.
Mm-hmm.
Through these last 5 years of being online, having business online. People have that anonymity and the keyboard mentality.
Right.
And I've had everything that you could have said just about. So my skin has gotten this much thicker, like,
Right. Right. You know what? You're on your way. You're on your way to becoming top crocodile, man. Now, did you go from, okay, you realized the power of sales. Did you pretty much kind of feel your way around in different industries to see where
Yeah.
you would be able to, really find a niche? Is that what you did?
Yeah, that's what I went from advertising sales to real estate, like investing. And then also, because I wanted to have access to the MLS, I became a licensed realtor. And then I moved online, and then I've been doing that, started business online, doing what I told you about earlier, which is B2B consulting. So what I do is like, I help people like a lot of times like yourself, what they know. And so I help them be able to do that and scale that online. So it took me a while to figure out, like I was so good at sales and I would do sales training for the companies that I was with, but I didn't really know how to monetize that. Like, how do you monetize like sales? How do you become like a sales trainer? And it wasn't until I got online and it happened, dude, on accident, because I was in these Facebook groups in like 2015, and people was talking about podcasts and you need to monetize a podcast. This dude, John Lee Dumas, you know him, Entrepreneur on Fire, dude. Shout out to John Lee. He inspired me to start a podcast, and then I used to see his income reports. I think he still does them. We make $250,000 a month. Then I learned about Pat Flynn, who was making, I think $100,000 a month on his blog, Smart Passive Income. So I got inspired to like, hey, I need to go online. and I didn't know what to do though. Like, where do I
Okay.
fit in? And so I went to Facebook groups, and that's how I started learning about these things. And my mom told me about a couple of them because she was looking online. And so I used to talk about sales because I used to talk about sales. Well, then I started the podcast because I was like, I'm going to interview online entrepreneurs. So I interviewed 350 of them,
Okay.
and I figured out that, like, you might have figured this out too. Like, how many episodes have you done?
This is 154.
Okay, so you probably know this by now. I started to be like, hey, I know a lot more than a lot of these people I'm interviewing.
Mhm. No, 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 no.
Me,
My guests,
because I know
my
more.
guests. Hold up, hold up. My guests are unique, special, high level with their own unique
Okay,
journeys. Yeah, but I hear what you're saying. Go ahead.
okay, but mine weren't.
Okay.
Okay, mine were just entrepreneur people.
Right.
Okay, and they all started to sound the same.
Okay.
And they like that. This I started hearing everybody's story, dude, because I did like a biographical sketch. That's what I used to call it.
Okay.
Dude, I'd be asking them about what their moms was like, and like
Mhm.
I just got you might be a nicer guy than me, but I'm not like that. I don't. I got in there and it all started to sound the same. Maybe it takes to like episode 250, like,
Mhm.
and I was like, man, look, the sun, my lighting's a little messed up. But anyways, come over here. The sun is shining on me.
Okay. No, you
Anyways,
look good.
you good? All right.
Yeah.
Uh, for the business, know it.
Mhm.
So what they did was realize to me, like, hey, I know more about business than these people do,
Wow.
and they're online.
Mhm.
And so I just said, I'm going to train people in client acquisition because that's what I know. And I'm
Wow.
going to do what they're doing because most of them was coaches,
Mhm.
and like life coaches, health coaches,
Mhm.
business coaches who really don't know much about business, which is kind of like, the thing.
Right.
And I go into Facebook groups. This ties into Facebook groups. And I start saying, let me test this out. So I would like give people tips on sales. And then people got so ticked off at my tips in these coach groups
Mhm.
and these consultant groups. They're like, that's not how you do it. You got to get people to know, like, and trust you. And all that. And I'm like, I mean, like, I sold on the street, like, business to business, getting out of my car. Like, I'm a road warrior.
Mhm.
That's where I come from. These people don't know what they're talking about. They're like school teachers,
Mhm.
and they never sold anything in their life. And they're going to tell me, a real street salesman, what selling is. And I developed like a ethos around me because I was seen as a polarizing figure in these Facebook groups, and I
Mhm.
got kicked out of a bunch of them.
Okay.
And I was like, screw this, dude. But in the process, these people started to become my clients, and they solicited me.
Mhm.
Like, hey, would you teach us how to do client acquisition?
Okay.
So I was like, well, I don't know how much to charge them. So I just picked $5,000
Mhm.
so to do one, right? And then I took 1, 2, 20, 50, and I just kept rolling. I just kept rolling, and I started my own Facebook group, and
Okay.
it got featured in Fast Company and stuff like that. And I've been going ever
Really?
since.
Wow.
Ups and downs, but I've been going ever since.
Mhm. Now, this idea of monetizing your business is absolutely huge. Can you talk to us a little bit about how to monetize your business, especially online? I do see, that a lot of people are online now, whether they're podcasting or just selling stuff online. And monetizing your business is the key to success. Can you talk to us a little bit about how to monetize your business?
Yeah, man, you have to find out. My uncle taught me this a long time ago. In order to take people where you want them to go, you first got to go to where they are.
Hmm.
So you got to find out where the people are. Billionaire.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Have you ever watched that show, Undercover Billionaire?
No.
Okay. Well, you should check it out. It's on Discovery.
Okay.
And the first season was this billionaire guy named Glenn Stearns, and he goes in a town. They drop off in a town he's never been in, and they give him $100 in an old beat up truck, and he's got to figure out how to make $1 million business in 90 days. And he can't use any of his contacts. He can't use his own name. By the way, all you entrepreneurs, you want to be entrepreneurs out there, you got to watch that show. It'll change your life. It's called Undercover Billionaire. It's on Discovery.
Okay.
And one of the things that he says is what I've always believed in, which is find your buyer first. So the key is you got to go to where the people are who are going to buy what you have.
Right.
It ain't up to them. People are so worried about if people are going to buy their idea. But if you have enough certainty in your idea, it ain't up to them.
Right.
It's when certainty meets certainty, the most certain of the two will lead the other one.
That's right.
That's just how it is. That's nature. So when you have an idea for your business, if you have more certainty than anybody else, they're going to like it. There's a certain amount of people that will just like it and they will buy. So quit, and you will make improvements along the way. So quit trying. You talk about monetizing. You have to go out to where the people are that you think are your buyers, and you have to have certainty, and you will sell. You'll get better as you go along and make your product or your service better. But that's the simplest explanation I could say. Go online to where they are, have certainty, and start talking with people. You'll make sales.
How do you locate a particular group of people on Facebook? Because to me, it looks like everybody is everywhere.
You got to be everywhere. You know, like I'm a bad example of this, but like this Clubhouse thing, like you heard about Clubhouse, right?
Yes.
So I don't like Clubhouse, but so I don't use it. You know, I can't be everywhere. I have a team, but I only have, like, you know, at any given time, a half a dozen people on my team to, you know, maybe 12, depending on where we're at. This year, I'm trying to get to 60 people by the end of the year, now that we're coming out of the COVID and stuff like that. And I don't have the time to be everywhere. So the answer is you should be everywhere. But the reality is you ain't going to be able to.
Right.
Okay. Especially when you're just not be so many places. So what you have to do is figure out where you like to be the most. Okay. Maybe it's IG, maybe it's LinkedIn, maybe it's Twitter, maybe it's Facebook. So you got to first figure out, where do I like to be? Because the platform that you like to use the most will be the one you use the most. You know?
Yeah.
So pick the one you like the most, and within that platform, go find the communities and pages. Like, so Facebook is a great place for groups. Any kind of thing you're into, you can find a group for it.
Right.
So LinkedIn has groups. Go find the groups. Instagram has, you know, pages dedicated to your niche. I promise you. Go see the people who follow those pages. Those could be your customers if that's your place.
Okay.
And the people within the Facebook group, you need to go figure out where the prospects hang out already. It's that simple.
Right. Now, about groups, and this is the last question before the break. I want to thank those people who are tuned in right now. We appreciate you, and we're dealing with the guru here today. What about the groups where you're not allowed to sell anything? It's almost like you've just got to go in there and hang out. How do you find groups where it's permissible for you to go in there and sell your product or service?
You don't want to be in those groups.
Right.
It's going to be like a spam city, like the web you can go sell. So what you got to do is you got to go in those groups and be authentic. Like you put that word on the screen. And when you go do that, you're going to be polarizing. And I'm not saying being polarizing for the sake of that, because that's what got our country into so divided as it is now, because people just want the clout chasers, right? So they just want attention for anything. You will be polarizing because most people are not. It's like I heard Talib Kweli say about Kanye? That Kanye is the kind of person that he's so confident in himself that if you don't have yourself right, you're going to feel some kind of way about him.
Right.
Because it's really about you. It's not about him. He's talking about himself. Why should that bother you? So if you go and you're just being yourself, like in these groups, like I did with sales, like I just, spoke my truth. I hate these cliches, but that's what I did.
Right.
And that's what got that ruffled their feathers, because I had the wherewithal to do that. And so, I got me attention.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, what Aaron is saying today, which is very helpful, is for you to really be yourself, figure out what it is that you're good at, that you want to offer to the community. Go find the groups or communities where your prospects are and join the community, interact, provide answers. And when someone who could be a potential client, but you're not saying, hey, everybody, I'm looking for clients. And they say,
don't do that.
They ask a question, and obviously they want a response to your question. This is what makes social media a huge opportunity for you to grow your business and change your life. People are asking questions all the time on social media. These people could be potential clients or potential buyers of whatever it is that you're serving or selling. This is how we've got to begin to look at social media. It's the new mall. It's the new marketplace. It's the new flea market. It's the new everything. And so you give the best answer that you can. Chances are, because you're so confident about what you're doing, your answer might be better than the person's answer next to you. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, wait, let me click on this guy and see what his profile says. His profile says, I'm here to serve you. And now your business is growing. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking to Aaron Janx right now. He's not the same as everybody else, and that's what I'm loving about him. Stick here with us. After the break, we'll be right back. America's Next Motivator. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 5 p.m. Eastern. Tuesday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern. America's Next Motivator, hosted by me, Cedric Riley, and sponsored by the Pride Empowerment Network. And we're back. Aaron, how you feeling out there?
Good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I want to get right back into the conversation that we were having, because it's getting to the point where there's value in it for everybody. So now you're getting more active on social media. You're getting more leads. Things are changing for you. What exactly is client acquisition? Because that's going to be the next thing that you need to understand how to do, is how to actually acquire or onboard new clients.
So let me go back to the groups part, okay? Like we were saying before the break. You want to pick a handful of groups, like 4 groups. So go in, get your idea, your niche. If you don't like you, it makes it hard for me to like you, Mm-hmm. So if you don't like your product, your service, it makes it hard for anybody else to. So if you believe in it, that's key. Go to the groups, pick 4 or 5 groups, commit to those groups. Think of yourself like, I'm going to be a syndicated blogger in those groups. I'm going to go in there, but take away the idea that you're trying to get people to like you. Because I know people are talking about no like and trust, but that whole thing about liking people, man, don't be a people pleaser. Mm-hmm. Because people don't respect people who are trying to get people to like them. Mm-hmm. People like people that like themselves. I mean, that's how it is. If you don't like you, you need my affirmation. It makes me not like you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're trying to like get me to like you. Something off-putting about that. Mm-hmm. So when you go in these groups, be yourself, be respectful of the rules, but speak the truth as you and admit to uniqueness in those groups. And then number two, once you're doing that, have your profile up right. So don't like go down and on Craigslist or whatever and get a cheap headshot made so that it don't look like you or your cousin took the photo or something like that. And it looks nice and clean. Your personal profile, like we're talking about Facebook, and get a real, get you on there, your face on there, not your dog, not your kids, not just you, your face. Okay.
Right.
And be on there and have on your profile how you help the prospect. It's called your one-liner. So not what about you. I don't care if you're a dad and you got kids and you like Superman. That's about you. What's in it for me? Like when I go to Chick-fil-A, they're talking about the feeling, like, Coke's logo slogan is taste the feeling. It's like, what can you do for so you want to, on your profile, as soon as someone goes there, they should be able to, boom, know what you do for them. What can you do for them?
Right.
And then once they're your friend, now you can PM them. You can private message them or DM them, whatever platform you're on. Now they're off the group. Hey, man, they're free game now. Right. So now you're in the PM with them, and now you guys can get to talk in. Don't try to sell in the PM. That's a bad mistake. And also don't let the conversation go on too long in the PM. You want to quickly as you can transition it over to a call. Now you can talk like a real human being. So don't sell in the PM either. Book a call in the PM as quickly as you can. And you do that, and now the next stuff comes down to sales.
Right, right. It comes down to sales, and then it comes down to what you're selling, and it comes down to the price that you're selling it at.
Absolutely. You have to have, if you don't have a high ticket price, that's high enough. If you're selling a service, I recommend nothing less than $2,500.
Hold up. Start over.
So if you're selling a service.
Hold up. Start over, because you broke up right when you said if you don't have a high ticket offer. So start over from there.
Right. If you don't have a high ticket offer, you won't be able to scale.
Okay.
It's going to be it's going to take too long. So you got to come out the gate with a high ticket price. This whole idea that you should start small with a service-based business, you're never going to get anywhere. So do not start with a low price. Start with a high price, nothing less than $2,500 for your service. Now, if you have a hard time imagining yourself charging $2,500, then you need to get around your circle more and figure out the people who are charging $2,500, because $2,500 is a low entry price. That's not like the service. So you put together a package. I don't care what you're selling. You could put something together that costs $2,500 in your service. And once you do that, you sell one of those a week, you're in six figures, right? Most people want to get to six figures.
Right.
But six figures is a prison sentence, because it just makes you busy enough to be crazy. Right. Like once you get that six figure make, you realize that six figures ain't what you thought it is as a business owner. Right. If you're an employee and you're making six figures, that's a lot better. But you're a business owner and you're making six figures, it ain't gonna get you nowhere. So now you have to have a team. So just know, when you're a business owner, you can't think like an employee. That's not your paycheck. That $2,500 is not your paycheck. That's gross sales. That's revenue. Right. And what you have to do is take a piece of that and put it back into the business and get a team. Okay, this is a people planet, and if you don't use people, then you could be used by people. But it's kind of true,
Yeah,
you have to use people in a good way according to their gifts and build your team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So now, if you're confident in your product or you're confident in your service, it sounds to me like you need to be higher than 2,500 when you build a high ticket offer, because you know that you're going to need to build a team. You're going to need to build a sales team. And even after paying your team, you don't want to just be at the $100,000 mark. You want to be a little bit above the $100,000 mark. Is that correct?
Well, you got to be in seven figures,
right?
To have your business, because you make $1 million, you don't keep that $1 million. Most people don't know that. Like let's do the math real quick. You do have $1 million, $1 million. You're gonna pay 40% of that to the government, to the IRS, right? Because you're in a higher tax.
Right.
But you get a refund. You need to refund your thinking because you ain't getting enough money.
Right.
So when you got the milli, they're going to take off 40%, and then you got like state tax. I don't know what state, it depends on the state you live in. Some states don't have state tax, like Texas, Florida, Tennessee. But you probably have state tax. You're going to have all kind of other things, and then you got marketing. So let's say 50% the tax. Then you got marketing expenses. Right. So like, let's say you do 30% in marketing. Now we have 700,000, and so we haven't even got into teams.
Right.
So $1 million is not $1 million, right? Maybe it's a couple 100,000.
So
after taxes.
So if I were offering a package, and I was charging $10,000 for that package, you're telling me that without a college degree, I do not sound crazy, and that it would be possible for me to succeed with those
college degree harder for you because you're gonna have all the bad thinking.
Hold on, say that again. Say it again.
The college degree is going to make it hard for you because you're going to have all the bad thinking, the conventional wisdom. And conventional wisdom is always wrong. How's a professor going to teach you to be an entrepreneur? He's a professor.
Right. Wow. Okay. So I wouldn't be wrong for offering something for $10,000 simply because I know that that is a decent valuation for what I'm trying to provide. I don't have to start off with $100 just to make people feel good.
Right. Now, all prices is made up.
That's right.
Like people talking about like, well, what's this pen worth? It's worth whatever you're willing to pay for, and I'm willing to take for it. That's the truth. It's not like price is made up. Money is made up. It's a human invention. And it's value. So if it's going to be made up anyway, then we might as well pick a price that's going to help.
Right. We've got to scale your business, and this is what we're talking about. Not shooting low, you need to shoot high because it's the only way you're going to be able to grow your business.
Yeah.
Now, how does nonprofits play into this whole picture? People sometimes want to start nonprofits, but they still want to make money, and it seems like money is a bad word in the nonprofit space. You have anything to say about that?
I'm not sure why people should be nonprofits,
Okay.
Like, other than the fact that you're trying to get donations, because you could do, the more money you make. Bill Gates has done more for people because he made a lot of money than all these nonprofits, because he's been able to profit and just give it away. So unless you're trying to use your energy and go make as much money as you can for profit, and then just give it away. If you're all charitable, the best thing you could do is to become rich.
Right. Without a doubt.
So like I mean, I know not-for-profit, the whole not-for-profit idea is really about churches. So they don't have to be taxed by the government and be manipulated by the government. So, but everybody and their mama wanting to start a not-for-profit because, I don't know, it feels good. It sounds good, but it's better to be for-profit, in my opinion, because you could do more. You could do more because you could charge, and then you could like multiply, and then you can make more money and get rich.
Once you have a small success, I created a bottle of water. I sold it once. It made me feel good. How do I systematically, 10x that? How do I grow that productivity? How do I, take a small victory and turn it into a continuous, perpetual victory?
Put the money back into the business. Don't keep it.
Okay.
Don't keep that money, man. You got to get people. And then once you got people, you got to invest in like advertising. Like the idea that you're going to like invest in advertising before you have people, I think it's a bad model, man, because people can be a good foundation for you. And then like I'm hiring, like I told you at the beginning, like I'm telling everybody that I'm hiring because I know that ain't no successful companies that have small payroll.
Right.
They just don't exist. You ain't going to be on the Forbes list in your bedroom.
Right. So you're saying that Before you go, if you realize that you could sell a bottle of water, instead of going out on the internet creating advertisements and telling the whole wide world through marketing that you're selling a bottle of water, you need to get somebody else to help you sell the bottle of water first.
Yeah, you need a team. You absolutely need a team of people like to handle administrative. Because what are you going to do? What are you going to do if you start to sell? You don't got administrative in place, and now you got a bunch of orders, and now you can't fulfill. So you
Right.
got to have the team in place. And if you can't pay people, then sell them on the dream and tell them you'll pay them later. Don't let anything be an excuse, because if you let anything be an excuse, anything will be an excuse.
That's right. That's right. Now, what would you say would be the bare structure of a team that you need? I mean, what's the minimum number? Do you at least need 3 people? At least need 5 people? At least need 7 people?
I would say half a dozen. At least you need 6. You need a couple admin people. You need 3 or so salespeople. You need some marketing help. Things like that. So you need at least 6 people. They don't have to be full time all.
Right.
You just need people like 6 other people helping you. I mean, an NBA team is 5 people. On the court.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Okay. So you need a good half a dozen people, and like you said, if you can't pay them in the beginning, sell them on the dream. You've got to be the original salesman. You've got to be the person who understands the vision, who can show everybody where this is going and why your particular invention is going to pay off for them in the long run.
Right.
What do you think about sales funnels and click funnels? What do you think about those?
Hey man, they're awesome. Because if you can't sell somebody in person, then the sales funnel can be like a person for you. But I think sales funnels for people. And I know a lot of kids out there and guys, young guys, like, they're making a lot of money on sales funnels. And I love that. But it gives the illusion that they don't have nothing behind that, when usually these people got nice teams. They got nice teams in place and they have a lot of help. And it looks from the outside like, man, this guy went on ClickFunnels. I'm going to get a free trial and I'm going to go on ClickFunnels and within those 2 weeks, I'm going to make a bunch of money. And that's not going to happen. Dude, what you got to do is go out and sell the deal with people, with your team. And then when you invest in ads, you got the right mindset about it. So it's like, I put out advertising like McDonald's puts out advertising, where it's like McDonald's puts out billboards.
Right.
And if you saw it, it worked. But if you're all wrapped up in like, I got to get a return, I got to get an ROI, that's big dog. And I don't want to listen to just an online guy. I want to see what the big boys are doing. Show me what Apple does. Show me what Google does. Show me what McDonald's does, Home Depot. Because they do a lot of visibility. They do a lot of branding where you just drive by. Like in Atlanta, we got billboards all down the road, man. And ain't no CTA, ain't no call to action there. It's branding there. That's because they got their street game on lock.
Right. Let's get you up here in front of our publics. What's the name of your website?
AaronJanx.com.
Okay, and what are you selling on your website?
I got a whole store with a whole bunch of products. I got a lot of business programs, business training programs. I have some merch there, all kinds of stuff. And I have a free book. If people want to get the free book, it's called 6 to 7 Figure Consultant.
Okay.
You can shoot me an email at info@aaronjanx.com and I'll get you the free book.
Okay. What about for those people who aren't looking for something free, who want to pay to gain access to, your biggest ideas? What's your high ticket offer?
I have a 12-week training program and coaching program that takes people through the A to Z about how to start and scale, even if you've already started a 6 to 7 figure coaching consulting business.
Wow. You train the trainers.
Yeah.
For those people who want to know, where will my business be at the end of this course? What can you say to that?
Tell people that I want to take them to the 6-figure mark so that they could continue on their own.
Okay.
So they could take it to the 7-figure, but like from the 0 to the 12th week, to where you're clocking in 6-figure numbers, to where if you just keep your foot on the gas, you'll make it to 7.
Absolutely.
Like,
What's
I give
next
you
for
the
you?
codes,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You give them the codes, right? The
Right,
access, the things, the buzzwords, the things you need to
right,
know. Can you give
right.
us one software? What's one software that you feel is a game changer for people to use to grow their business?
Not ClickFunnels, but Schedule Once.
Schedule Once?
Yeah, Schedule Once is a scheduling software that allows the prospect to pick multiple times, and it sends them a confirmation. So it's like they get an email that you've accepted their multiple requests for the booking. You can ask questions in there, like pre-qualifying questions if you want to see if they're a good prospect to take the appointment or not. And it's like $12 a month, so anybody could afford it. I would tell you ClickFunnels, but it's going to be $300 a month
Right.
to get started. When really all you need to get started is Schedule Once. I've tried all the scheduling softwares. I have no affiliation with them, but I just love them. Schedule Once. The company is called Once Hub. They used to just be called Schedule Once, but Schedule Once is the name of it.
Aaron, I'm looking forward to continued success for you. You know, I scroll down my timeline and I see people like, Gary V, mostly Gary V. He's someone who I see a lot. And I see you along those same lines. You don't have the typical response to my questions. Your thought process is unconventional. You know how to get to the money. You know how to create an opportunity where there doesn't seem to be an opportunity. And so I just want to commend you for that. And I'm looking forward to see more of you on social media. In fact, these algorithms are so smart now. I wouldn't be surprised if right after this show, I start seeing advertisements from your businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I just got a few questions for you as we round third base here. Again, thank you for your time. The first one, what is survival to you? What's survival to you?
Food, shelter, water, like the basics, and it's a terrible place to be.
That's right.
When you're in
What is
survival mode, you can't be creative.
What's success to you?
It's realizing your own individual potential. Like realizing in actuality, not just like thinking about it, but like manifesting your potential.
What is greatness to you?
You said, what is greatness?
Yes.
Greatness is manifesting your potential in abundance.
Absolutely. A lot of people are trying to elevate their life and they want to get past the 6-figure mark. In fact, people want to be millionaires. They want to get to higher places. Do you feel like the gates of opportunity are opening up for more people to be able to fit in the upper echelons of financial freedom?
Yeah, man. Interest rates are at a 5,000-year low. So we're seeing the greatest transformation of wealth the world has ever seen. So what are you going to tell, what are you going to tell the people that come after you when you live through the greatest transformation of wealth the world's ever seen? You're responsible for what you do with that. And it doesn't matter where you come from, because there's always someone you and did more than you're doing right now. So wherever you came from, there's been someone who's come out of something harder and made it big.
When you say this is the greatest transfer of wealth the world has seen, what do you mean by that? Quickly, what do you mean by that?
I mean, there's more people that are going to be able to be wealthy now, and there's more rich people in the world now than there's ever been in history.
Okay.
It used to just be wealth is at the top of the pyramid, but now so many people are getting rich, more than any. So that wealth is being transferred out more than any other time in history.
Okay. Aaron Janx, I've listened to your story today. I've enjoyed your wisdom, how you continue to grow to bigger and bigger and bigger heights. I love how you encourage people to aim high. Go straight for the moon. No one told you to stick around on the sidewalk. And I think that's phenomenal. So I'm giving you your respect today while you can still receive it. Ladies and gentlemen, put your crown emojis into the chat because we're also giving you your crown today while you can still receive it. We're letting you know that you, Aaron Janx, not only are you getting your crown today, but you are America's next motivator.
Thank you, my man.
Absolutely. You got crowns coming into the building. You were phenomenal, man. Not everybody comes and drops wisdom the way that you did today, and you did it without a problem. Thanks for stopping by, all right?
Hey, man, I appreciate you.
All right. Yes, sir. Thanks a lot. Peace. Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Each and every episode of America's Next Motivator is going to have something here for you. All you've got to do is stop by and pick it up.